back at St James's Park and we're smiling. We're going to Wembley.
I know, it's incredible. Like, as much as they've done the job.
Was it ever in doubt?
I don't think it was.
It shouldn't have been.
No, I just think that the last couple of home games and the defeats probably painted some
and
doubt.
Arsenal are a good team. They are capable of scoring 2 goals and winning by more than 2-0 or whatever it would have had to be in the end. But from the very start, boy, that dodgy free kick Arsenal got after about a minute.
Yeah,
Newcastle never really looked back. Alexander Isak scored very close to being allowed. I mean,
it was very tight.
It was very tight. You see the replays, see the VAR checks. Unfortunately, if it was an earlier round in the competition, it would have stood as well. So yeah, really great finish from him. But then I say he made no mistake, or Newcastle made no mistake, but Alexander Isak hit the post. That would have been a good finish. Jacob Murphy on the rebound. And then Newcastle never looked back from there. 3-0 up on aggregate. Anthony Gold makes it 4-0 in the second half. And it was just one of those nights at St James's Park. It's another one. How many have we had in recent years? Like, you go back, PSG, that'll always be special. We've had some really big nights here under the lights. Southampton a couple of years ago. This one had a different sort of feel to a degree, but again, going to Wembley, it's a big night, and we're happy.
Yeah, I mean, it was never, if there was a little bit of nerves before the game, it was never in doubt by the time that I got inside St James's Park and I seen the pre-match build-up, because it was electric. The supporters came with a voice tonight. You could sense it.
They don't need to be told, by the way.
No.
I think that
no, not at all. That was
these
always,
nights create themselves in just the occasion. Fans don't need to be told. You need to bring your singing voice tonight. Newcastle fans, they've been there and done that. They've got the memo. It's sound, and it was never in doubt tonight. And yeah, by God did they show up, and by God did Eddie Howe's men show up.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go about the atmosphere, because I think that was really key. As you say there, it's natural. It was never in doubt that Newcastle fans were going to turn up.
And a natural atmosphere is the best type of atmosphere. A forced atmosphere doesn't work.
But I still thought it was electric, where I would say, PSG is obviously the one, the atmosphere sort of one that you look at, but I would say this is, certainly the open exchange of that game, this was probably on par with the noise. It was deafening. And it was created, to be fair, at the club as well, that they put things in place. Fans walking up the Milburn Tunnel. Sam Fender's band with the Johnny Blue Hat's there, his drummers there. So that's creating an atmosphere. Because I went outside, you could hear the fans from the press box. That's how loud it was. Yeah. And then you get inside St James's Park. Thunderstruck. Love that song. So it's real.
It gets you pumped,
really
doesn't
does,
it? Like Local Hero, we love Local Hero, but it's an iconic song rather than a song that gets you. It's iconic because it's associated with a match. Thunderstruck is like, come on.
Yeah, it does. I love it. They don't use it enough. They don't use that song enough, but they bring it out on the big nights, and it always helps. Like it did against PSG, because that song sticks in my head. But the local hero as well, through Johnny Blue Hat.
Great performance from him.
The black and white flags on the pitch. So they're long. I'm trying to think what they're called, but I've seen that as well. So there was a big build up, and everyone delivered. It was a night where everyone delivered. Fans, Eddie Howe, players. Because Eddie Howe, I think, looking at the team sheet at the start, 5 at the back, we were like, but
is he being a bit safe?
It was a tactical masterclass.
It was.
Because
against Arsenal.
And you can see why he did it. I think 5 at the back, rightly or wrongly, is always perceived as quite negative, but it didn't feel like they were playing a 5 at the back. It was almost just because you had Fabian Schär, for example, or a Dan Burn pushing up and being sort of a third midfielder and pressing really high.
Yes.
So outstanding from that aspect. The height in the box as well, because you're losing a beast in Joe Linton. You're bringing Sven Botman back, and he gives you that height in the box where Arsenal are so dangerous from set pieces. So Eddie Howe just got it spot on tonight, and the players delivered an excellent performance. And I just thought it's one of them special St James's Park nights where you feel privileged to cover this club and be in the presence of games like this, because it was brilliant.
Yeah, really was. And just on that tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe, like you say, we see, is it 5 at the back, 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it. Eddie Howe said it was so important he found a way to get Sven Botman in the team.
Yeah.
And from a physical perspective, from a set piece perspective, it was so important. And I thought the back, well, two of mine, Newcastle, were brilliant, but Sven Botman for me really stood out, and then Fabian Schär, Dan Burn either side, doing that sort of pushing up box-to-box centre-back role at times, like man-marking. Declan Rice it was for the second goal with Fabian Schär. But Sven Botman, considering he's been so long out, and I mean, might have took its toll towards him on the end. He went off with a knee issue, which Eddie Howe said, we're not sure how serious it is, but he was a colossal presence tonight, I thought. Sven Botman.
He really was. He was, as described as here, there and everywhere. It was swept everything up at the back. Just the, to come in, because he obviously dropped out the last couple of games.
Calm as well, I thought.
Yeah, he was a standout performer in terms of defensive work in the first half, and I think everyone came into the role in the second half. And once Newcastle got that second goal, they sort of sat in a little bit. But again, Arsenal didn't really threaten. We're saying this.
We've watched Arsenal 3 times this season. Look, I've watched Arsenal on telly. We watched them on Sunday. They are a very good team. We know that. Against Newcastle, they can't do it. They turn into some like absolute plodders, set piece reliant, just one-dimensional team.
There's not many teams, and you're right about Arsenal, but there's not many teams that would have played in that atmosphere tonight.
PSG when you're 2-0 down already, 3-0 down.
But you're right. Arsenal have barely threatened. I think there was a couple of chances in the first leg, but realistically they've been restricted to very little, and that's credit to Newcastle. I think Newcastle have got Arsenal's number at the moment.
This season.
Mikel Arteta was asked about that, Newcastle being one of his most difficult opponents. It was a very, very blunt response from the Arsenal manager.
Yes, they are tough. It was something like that, wasn't it? He
Yeah.
just went, they are a tough team.
Yeah, they are tough opponent. Yeah, they are tough opponent. Yeah, but he took a bit of stick tonight, Mikel Arteta, which I found it quite
if you
amusing,
give it,
yeah.
you've got to take it.
Exactly. Well, Arsenal have built up the sort of reputation of just being crybabies, petulant, and that comes from the manager, by the way. So he got it rubbed back in his face today. When you go on like that, you have to expect to get it back every so often. But I thought that was some light-hearted banter by Newcastle fans in relation to the ball comment he made after the first leg about the Carabao Cup ball, and he said it was different to the Premier League ball.
Which I'm sure it is. I mean, we play with the Carabao Cup ball on a Thursday night.
Did you notice the difference? You still score goals.
I still sky it though.
Right.
I'm always blaming the ball.
Well,
it's never my fault.
Anthony Gordon didn't sky it twice.
Jacob Murphy controlled his shot. Alexander Isak even found the top corner.
Although Alexander Isak's shots were high.
True.
But no, just a really. I mean, one from 11 really. You can't pick out your standouts. Yeah, I was going to pick out my standouts. It would be probably Gordon and Botman for me.
Those were my star men in the player ratings.
But then you look at the midfield as well. And I know you obviously had your central defender stepping in, but Bruno and Tonali controlled. There were a 2-man midfield up against a 3-man Arsenal midfield, and Tonali was. He's a classy footballer, but he missed that defensive side of his game on Saturday. I thought that was back tonight, and then Bruno is just one of them sort of just coos everything down, doesn't he? He's like in a very sort of high-tempered.
He has an X factor in games like these.
He really does. He just takes the ball in tight situations. He wins fouls. He's just a clever footballer, and he gets the crowd going as well. So he's a proper skipper. But you can go through the full team. You go through the attack. Obviously, you mentioned Gordon. Now I want to pick out one name, and you probably agree as well. Kieran Trippier.
Back in the side tonight.
I want to say
another inspired decision.
I want to say roll back the years, but I think that's probably disrespectful. But that was the Kieran Trippier that we've seen in his first 18 months here. A threat from set pieces, being able to support the winger going forward. Defensively, rarely give Arsenal a sniff as well. So I was really pleased to see him come back in the team. And for me, I think he deserves a run of games now.
Yeah,
because
he's shown his quality.
Yeah,
and it was a bold call from Eddie Howe, because Kieran Trippier hasn't played a lot of football. And okay, Tino Livramento's recent form you can call into question, but ultimately 2 games against Arsenal this season, he's kept Gabriel Martinelli very quiet, albeit he was on the opposite side for the most part tonight, and then did go off injured. Tino Livramento's generally played well against Arsenal, and bringing Kieran Trippier in, I think when you just have those 3 centre-backs, when you have Fabian Schär and then Sven Botman, Dan Burn alongside them, Kieran Trippier can get a bit more forward, and then he's also got Jacob Murphy in front of him to provide that support, and I think that worked really well, and Kieran Trippier will know how how good he can be and how classy he can be, and I thought he brought that tonight. But like you say, 1-11, made some changes late on, but yeah, everyone who came on tonight and everyone who played can really be proud of what they put in, and deservedly in the final.
It was just easy, and it was never meant to be that way.
Newcastle have gone into a major tournament semi-final as underdogs against one of the best teams in the country, and absolutely just brushed them aside like it was nothing.
I know.
Since Alexander Isak put Newcastle ahead at Emirates Stadium a month ago, Newcastle barely looked back, really. I wouldn't say Arsenal haven't laid a glove on Newcastle, because they've certainly had chances, and you go, XG and all that, and they've had set pieces. But Martin Dubravka has been comfortable.
Yeah, he's barely had a say to me.
180 minutes of football, and you can even go back to Nick Pope being in goal, the 1-0 win at St James's Park in the league. Again, Arsenal barely laid a glove on Newcastle in terms of they've had set pieces, they've a couple of scrambles, but not much.
I think it shows how far Newcastle have come in terms of mentality.
Yeah.
Because, look, I think this feels different to the Southampton semi-final.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it was a big celebration after Southampton, because it's the first time Newcastle got to Wembley in about 20 years. Whereas tonight, as much as you had the sort of the tell me ma and the PA announcer playing that, yeah, but it was just sort of like, it was a clap to the fans, and then it was down the tunnel. There wasn't any big celebrations, and for me, that's a mentality of, look, they went there to win last time, of course they did, but now it feels like, no, we do go in there and win. Because I think subconsciously, maybe to someone, I'd probably include myself in this, Wembley last time did feel like a bit of a day out. This time different, and I think they've got whether that's Liverpool or Tottenham, I think they've got a real chance, just because the lessons they've learned from last time and the mentality they built the squad, because they've got some big characters in there, some excellent players. So whoever they come up against, I think they're in a really, really good position. Hopefully those players stay fit. And again, we've got 5 weeks to wait for this final.
It's been
last time Newcastle got the Carabao Cup final, the form dropped a little bit because that was on the horizon. Hopefully they can hold it all together, and then when they get to Wembley this time, they can win. Because I think it feels different. I'm not going to commit to say I think if they win the cup or not, but I think they're in a better position going to Wembley this time round than they were last time against a out of form Manchester United team.
Yeah. Man U were in good form at the time, weren't they?
Right, well,
they picked it up, but then a month later,
Manchester United have been in many largely diabolical. You're right, they probably were in form at the time, but look where they are on the league table.
Yes,
Newcastle gifted them a cup final. I don't expect that to be the case this time. I think they'll go there and give whoever they come up against a proper game, and then we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, but I do agree. This run to the final has felt completely different, because last time
it's some big teams.
It felt like just momentum building. It was almost like a carnival atmosphere, a party atmosphere. You beat Leicester in a quarter final.
Yeah.
Leicester team will ultimately get relegated, and we're celebrating almost like we were tonight for reaching a final.
Yeah.
Almost the feeling was similar. You see Dan Burn dancing in the dressing room and things like that, and it's like, this is a club who aren't used to this run. It's a club who are getting used to it, and that is a great thing if you want to be successful eventually. And we've been starved of success at Newcastle. It's muscle memory getting into the latter stages of tournaments, and almost it's box ticks rather than celebrations, and the only celebration will come when you lift that trophy, and that's a really healthy place, I think, for Newcastle to be in. Because last season, 2 years ago, I thought it felt like getting to Wembley was an achievement, and it is an achievement in some respects, and Newcastle have done well to get there again, but that felt like, yes, we've got there, Wembley, we're having our big day out. And I remember, and people could go back and watch the video I did at Central Station before I was getting the train down to Wembley. I said it will be a great weekend no matter what happens. And did we have a great weekend? Yes, we did. But it was a day out. It felt like that, and I think you're right. This time, it'll only be a great weekend if Bruno's lifting that Carabao Cup.
Yep.
And that's the difference this time, I think. Newcastle have been there. They've not done it this time. That's the mentality to go in with, and that's the mentality I think supporters will go in with as well, where it's like, yes, enjoy Trafalgar Square, enjoy Wembley, but you were only there 2 years ago. This isn't a once-in-a-lifetime experience anymore. We're back at Wembley and we're here to win.
Can't argue with that. It's a rallying message by you, but no, I can't disagree with that at all. There's a different feel around it this time. They've beaten had some hard games on the way, whereas last time they didn't.
It was Premier League teams, but it was
Palace at home, I think, and then it was you had your Leicester in the quarter final, and then
Bournemouth
a relegated
as well.
South. Oh yeah, Bournemouth of course, but they weren't the Bournemouth that they are currently.
Yeah.
Whereas this time they've beaten Arsenal, Chelsea, Forest away.
At the time
that
you felt, that's a job done. Probably made more of a meal of it than they had to, but winning at Forest away, albeit on penalties, something not a lot of teams have done. Newcastle done it twice.
I think Eddie Howe's alluded to it as well. I think, in even his sort of comments after the game, I think he knows it's different this time, just because they've built up that experience. So, no, it was a proper special night, but this only becomes a special overall if they go and lift that trophy. Who knows if they'll go and do it, but I think they've put themselves in a really, really good position.
They have. And have you got a preference? Because I actually don't.
It's a strange one because can you imagine? Because if they face Tottenham in the final, they would go into a final as favourites, and that makes me feel uneasy. But then also it's Liverpool who Newcastle can't buy a win against.
No.
But I think this season they've beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford for the first time in so many years.
Arsenal at the Emirates.
Arsenal at the Emirates. I know they've got a decent record down Tottenham, but it's results like that where, look, maybe the stars are lying where whoever they play they can go and beat. So, do I have a preference? I probably don't. Do I want Newcastle to go into a final as final as favourites? To say, I don't think anyone's been used to that ever. Have Newcastle ever gone into a final as cup as favourites? Based probably from about 1998 onwards, maybe, when they're playing Chelsea in the cup. No.
Semi-final to play Chelsea.
It was Arsenal.
Man U.
Didn't go to the final favourites. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need to go to a final as favourites.
Just do it.
But yeah, whoever it is, I think they've put themselves in a really good place.
Exactly. Of course they have. And yeah, it's just about carrying on that good feeling, because I mean, St James's Park, the past 2 games leading into this, it was a bit negative. There was frustrations, and that all gets brushed aside with nights like tonight. And now Newcastle have 5 weeks to
5 weeks. Yeah, it's a long.
Keep everyone fit first of all, but
yeah,
then also really build up some momentum. Because what was a big thing tonight, which I mean, Eddie Howe's quite married to the 4-3-3. He switched it up tonight, and it worked to a T. And that's what you like to see. That's what great managers do. They change things up based on the situation. They react or plan in advance, and they get the results. And that's what happened tonight. And I just think it was just a perfect night at St James's Park.
You talk about potentially like staleness and stuff creeping in, maybe because they haven't signed anyone. Maybe that's a refresh that they could look to do. Maybe the change of formation is a refresh. I don't know. I think he played 5 at the back a couple of times last season when it was sort of Elliot Anderson in a left wing.
They
back
definitely
role.
did it at Palace, and it didn't work. They tried it against Spurs for a bit, and it did work. So it's one of them. Again, I think tonight it worked because Arsenal had to come at Newcastle. They were trailing 2-0. They needed to get an early goal. They had to upset the rhythm of St James's Park and the momentum and everything about the tie, and they couldn't do that. And ultimately, part of that was down to the way Newcastle set up.
They probably played in the Newcastle's hands, really, because, as I say, Newcastle soaked up the pressure, and the Newcastle targeted long ball over the top quite often, and it quite often came off for them as well.
And sometimes it didn't. I mean, Newcastle weren't. I say it's a perfect night at St James's Park. There were a couple of overhit passes, underhit passes that, I mean, if Newcastle were really on song tonight and really sharp, Anthony Gordon has a good chance where it's almost like the goal's gaping. Newcastle could have won by 3 or 4 tonight, which is mad to think in a major semi-final.
But it was the staying deep and releasing the ball, and you've got Anthony Gordon, who's playing a little bit more inside rather than being out and out right forward. And then Alexander Isak, I mean, you constantly hear stuff about Alexander Isak and Arsenal, but the bloke loves playing against Arsenal. I mean, the two centre halves for Arsenal are good defenders.
Some of the best in the league,
But they must hate coming up against Alexander Isak because he terrorises them. He terrorised them at the Emirates as well for about 60 minutes.
I think they're scared of him. I think William Saliba, who probably isn't scared, or certainly doesn't seem scared of many players he comes up against, absolutely. I was going to say something I shouldn't have said. Craps his pants when Alexander Isak was in his vicinity, and you saw that tonight. Mistakes were creeping in. You see, they're on edge and they don't know how to deal with him. And Alexander Isak will have better games, but he still terrorised Arsenal despite not being at his absolute fully firing best. Although probably unlucky not to get a goal in the end. Played a good part in the Jacob Murphy goal though, because he won the ball, played it to Anthony Gordon, and then was slipped in.
Yeah.
And then
Crossbar.
hit the woodwork, and Jacob Murphy.
Proper underrated finish that by Murphy.
2 goals in 2 games.
To control that is really underrated. It sort of clipped the post, didn't it? But that was because I feared after that Newcastle had the first goal disallowed, where the crowd be like, oh, and then there was sort of like, I feared there'd be a little bit of a lull, but when Newcastle go and score immediately like that, it never really felt in doubt tonight. It really didn't. I was looking at half time and I was pretty much.
Oh, the highlight of tonight was you on your computer, literally booking the hotels for Wembley.
I did, yeah. So
the game was still going ahead. Jordan, yep, you're in a twin room, Dom.
Yeah,
sound.
Yeah, I booked our hotel for Wembley. That's what I mean, because I'm quite weird like that. Like Liam's usually the same, but it's like tempting fate, and it's silly, really. But
you could have booked it literally a month ago, and you would have been fine. But yeah, no, I think it is a superstitious thing as well, even though it's free cancellation or whatever.
Yeah, no. But lots of other fans did it as well. But when you take a 2-0 lead from the Emirates, it would have been horrific if I hadn't seen it through tonight. As I say, there was talk of nerves and stuff at the start of the game. Personally, I didn't get it. I mean, I thought nerves is quite a defeat. It depends what you look at. For me, what you're nervous at. Are you nervous about losing? Are you nervous about what's at stake?
Yeah.
If you're nervous about losing, that needs to go, because this football club needs to be bigger, like better than that. It needs to have a winner's mentality, and that'll come by winning trophies. By the way, the mentality will change, and that's the only way you can change it. Obviously,
the players have had a winning mentality going into this cup run, though. I mean, they've come up against Arsenal and just went, both nights we win.
Yeah.
But we don't care who you are.
That's a progression of the squad. Because we've touched on it already, but last time it felt like a day out, and every time they won a game, the Carabao Cup, it was ooh. Whereas now it's like laser focus, like we go there to win.
Last 4 cup competitions, I mean, it's 2 finals, 2 quarter-finals, and probably should have been a final last season in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, because they would have got
dodgy penalty, or dodgy last-minute goal and then penalty shootout. So, yeah, I think that muscle memory, that getting to the latter stages of cup competitions almost without thinking about it, it's just another game. You just win it. It's a box ticked. Is a great thing to be in, but you need to win that trophy eventually, and what better chance?
I think it's the prospect of ending this club's 70-year wait for a domestic trophy. I think is spurring the players on. I think every single player in that dressing room feels it and wants to be the player that wants to be the team that makes history. And I think that comes from the manager as well. So the build. It feels like they're building towards something. They're there now. I just really hope they can go on and win it, because that's what they need to go and do. So I'm running out of things to say. Because it was just a proper special night. I said to you before, and I don't know if I maybe said it in the video. It makes you feel privileged to be here when you witness nights and atmospheres like that, and hopefully it'll be the same at Wembley.
Hopefully. We'll wrap up there with a word from our sponsors, of course. Take it away, me. Comply IT Limited. Worrying about disposing of your old IT equipment? Don't be. Comply IT handle everything. Secure collection, detailed tracking, and certified data destruction. That's Comply IT Limited. We've also got Mitigate. Mitigate enhances workplace mental health, helping businesses stay compliant, reduce absences, and unlock higher productivity, creating healthier, happier teams. And of course, our OG sponsors, Four Rivers Financial Planning. Four Rivers Financial Planning offer holistic financial advice for all stages of life, ensuring your plan remains robust and adaptable in the ever-changing world we live in. So those were our sponsors, links in the description below. You can always check out the Geordie Journals shop as well, link in the description. And please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe for all your latest Geordie Journals content. You can ring the bell as well to get it dropped directly into your device. And me and Jordan will be back on Friday.
I'm not there.
Are you not?
I'm off for a couple of days now.
Oh, enjoy.
So I think you might be by yourself though. Might be a solo. I can't help you out on this one either because I'm not even in the vicinity of.
Oh.
No, I'm away for a couple of days.
Ooh, okay.
So cover the game tonight.
Good to know.
And I'm off on me couple of days jolly. I'll be back for Birmingham though. In the FA Cup.
Lucky you.
Oh yes. I've been warned that it's not a great place.
Yeah, we complain about Everton. Apparently Birmingham makes Everton look like St James's Park. Although nothing could make anything look like St James's Park.
No, it's a special place. It gets me emotional seeing nights like tonight because it just means so much to a lot of people. And look, I think we don't hide our colours. It means a lot to us as well. So I'm very happy. I'll be a happy man going to sleep tonight.
Mm-hmm. Not getting our suits measured this time though.
No suits this time.
And we'll be back. I'll be back on Friday, and we'll be back as a duo on Saturday at St Andrews, Saturday night. So see you there, and thanks for watching.